Edgar Cayce was in the midst of a reading when an extraordinary occurrence took place. The individual he was providing information for had just passed away in a hospital located 200 miles away, and Cayce's awareness followed that spirit through its early moments following death. The experiences he observed and chronicled during that session would astonish even his most loyal followers, offering the most comprehensive account of the initial 60 seconds after death ever documented. Before we delve into these transformative insights from more than 14,000 recorded readings, be sure to hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next regarding consciousness, the afterlife, and the remarkable journey of your soul. Have you ever considered what truly occurs when your heart ceases to beat? Edgar Cayce, during his trance state in Virginia Beach, offered the most comprehensive description of those initial, invaluable moments following death that has ever been recorded, and his findings will profoundly impact you. In the following moments, I will present 3 astonishing revelations from Cayce's readings. First, the startling realization that your soul undergoes. Second, the remarkable decision you confront that shapes your entire existence in the afterlife. And finally, the astonishing link to your present existence that many individuals fail to acknowledge. But what makes this even more remarkable is that Cayce didn't merely speculate about death. He experienced the process of transition firsthand through his psychic talents, chronicling numerous instances of souls moving on. Reading 136-83 features one of the most comprehensive descriptions ever noted of a soul's initial experiences in the afterlife. Based on Cayce's recorded insights, the initial occurrence when the soul separates from the body is referred to by him as the moment of profound awakening. In reading 262-85, he illustrated how a person who had just passed away encountered an immediate broadened awareness, comparable to the experience of seeing sunlight after being confined in a dark cave for a lifetime. However, there's an even more astonishing aspect regarding these initial 60 seconds. Cayce disclosed that the soul does not merely wander without purpose into an unfamiliar space. On the contrary, something remarkable unfolds that many individuals are completely unaware of. During those vital initial moments, as stated in reading 14.7.2.2, your spirit engages in what Cayce referred to as the silver cord review. This is not a fanciful tale. It is a recorded event that Cayce observed numerous times during his trance states. The soul effectively examines its complete earthly life in just a few seconds, although not in the manner many might presume. This is where it becomes truly astonishing. Cayce uncovered that in this swift review of one's life, the soul not only observes its actions but also feels them from the viewpoints of everyone with whom it interacted. This includes every kindness shown, every harsh word uttered, and each moment of love or fear generated. The soul immerses itself in all these experiences from both ends. A notable instance from the ARE archives features a businessman from Kentucky who underwent what we now refer to as a near-death experience in 1932. When Cayce provided insights about his experience, he disclosed that the man's soul spent those initial moments reliving his entire life as seen through the perspectives of his family, employees, and even unfamiliar faces he had met. The man later validated specifics that only someone who had truly lived those moments could recognize. However, this brings up an essential question that will shape your experience in the afterlife. What occurs in those initial 60 seconds hinges entirely on a factor that most individuals rarely think about throughout their lives. In reading 57.493, Cayce revealed that following the life review, your soul encounters what he referred to as the great choice. This process isn't about being evaluated by an outside entity. Rather, it's about your soul's own awareness of its spiritual progress and what it needs for further growth. Here's what Cayce recorded about what follows, and it's truly astonishing. Your soul, now completely cognizant of its earthly experiences and spiritual evolution, has the opportunity to select its next stage of existence. However, there is an astonishing element that many overlook. Based on Cayce's insights, some souls opt to stay near the earthly realm to assist their loved ones, while others swiftly advance to elevated spiritual realms. In reading 281:16, Cayce recounted an instance where a deceased mother chose to linger in what he referred to as the borderland to support her children during a challenging time. In the initial 60 seconds after her passing, her soul experienced not only a review of her life, but also an immediate awareness of her family's future needs and her choice to postpone her spiritual journey in order to protect and guide them. This transforms our understanding of both death and consciousness. However, there's an even more astonishing finding from Cayce regarding those initial moments. Based on the recorded observations, the experiences of your soul in the first minute are significantly shaped by your spiritual readiness accumulated during your earthly existence. Cayce frequently stated that souls that enhanced their spiritual awareness through practices like meditation, prayer, and acts of service went through what he referred to as a seamless transition. In contrast, those who focused solely on material pursuits encountered bewilderment and disarray. Entry 1709-2 includes Cayce's account of a soul that engaged in daily meditation while on Earth. The text indicates that this person's journey is likened to a bird launching into the vast sky from a known tree. The soul quickly acknowledged its changed condition and advanced with assurance and intent. However, this is where Cayce's insights can truly transform your life at this moment. In his discussion from pages 262 to 289, he clarified that we have the ability to ready our souls for this shift while we are still living. The spiritual habits you cultivate now will significantly influence your experience during the vital first 60 seconds following death. Cayce disclosed that individuals who consistently engaged with what he termed the God force via prayer and meditation encountered immediate awareness and tranquility. Those who had dedicated themselves to serving others unselfishly discovered they were enveloped by spiritual guides during their transition. Conversely, individuals who had lived in fear or focused on materialism confronted what Cayce referred to as a phase of confusion and disarray. One recorded instance from 1934 featured a resident of Virginia Beach who had diligently studied Cayce's teachings and spiritually prepared for many years. Upon this person's passing, Cayce was invited to observe their soul's journey. The reading indicated that their shift was so effortless and intentional that the soul could instantly convey comfort to their mourning loved ones. Now, here's something that may astonish you regarding your soul's potential during those initial moments post-death. Cayce found that souls who have just transitioned retain all of their earthly memories and personalities, but they possess an enhanced spiritual insight that enables them to grasp the significance of every experience they underwent. However, this raises a thought-provoking question that might transform your entire viewpoint on life. If your soul carries everything you've learned and experienced with it, and those first 60 seconds influence your subsequent phase of existence, what actions are you taking right now to ready yourself for this unavoidable transition? In reading 387:4, Cayce outlined that the individuals who experienced the most positive transitions were those who had mastered the art of releasing material attachments while still valuing their earthly experiences. They cultivated what he referred to as spiritual detachment, which didn't imply indifference towards life, but rather an understanding of life's fleeting nature and their soul's ongoing journey. This is where Cayce's insights become significantly applicable to your everyday existence. He emphasized that every decision you make, every thought you entertain, and every deed you perform contributes to the spiritual framework that will shape your soul's journey during those critical initial moments following death. A particularly notable case in the ARE archives involves a skeptical physician from New York who initially rejected Cayce's teachings. Following his own brush with death in 1936, he approached Cayce for a reading. The insights that Cayce provided about the doctor's fleeting experience in the afterlife perfectly corresponded with what the doctor had encountered, including specific details he hadn't disclosed to anyone. As indicated in the reading, the doctor's soul experienced those initial moments as an extraordinary revelation, where all of his scientific insights coherently aligned within a broader spiritual context. His years devoted to healing others had established what Cayce referred to as a pathway of light that facilitated the transition of his soul. However, there's something even more remarkable regarding what occurs in your consciousness during those first 60 seconds. Cayce stated that your soul retains its unique personality and individuality. Rather, it acquires what he referred to as cosmic awareness, all while holding on to the qualities that define you. In reading 262-86, it illustrates how an individual who has just passed away preserved their sense of humor, affection for their family, and personal passions, but now comprehends how these earthly traits contribute to their soul's everlasting evolution. It's not a transformation into a different entity after death. Instead, you become a more complete version of yourself than you ever were in your physical existence. This insight carries significant consequences for your current way of living. If your consciousness and personality persist after death, then every facet of your development in this life holds eternal importance. Your compassion, your insight, your spiritual evolution, and your ability to love, all of these endure and flourish beyond physical mortality. Cayce's readings consistently revealed that souls who had lived with awareness and spirituality during their time on Earth perceived those initial 60 seconds as a delightful reunion. They acknowledged the spiritual realm as their genuine home and viewed their existence on Earth as an important opportunity for learning that had equipped them for broader service. However, what further substantiates the validity of Cayce's insights is the fact that numerous individuals who obtained life readings from him subsequently shared experiences that precisely aligned with his predictions regarding their soul's path. The ARE Foundation in Virginia Beach has recorded hundreds of instances where Cayce's spiritual revelations were confirmed to be accurate. One especially poignant case involves a young mother from Ohio who sought Cayce's guidance in 1938 due to her fear of death while confronting a severe illness. Cayce's insights reassured her that her soul's departure would be tranquil, thanks to her commitment to her children and her spiritual routines. When she eventually passed away several months later, her family noted that her last moments were imbued with a parent's joy and awareness, precisely as Cayce had envisioned. Now here's the most remarkable aspect of what Cayce disclosed regarding those initial 60 seconds. The experience of your soul goes beyond your personal voyage. As stated in Reading 254-68, souls that transition with awareness instantly integrate into what Cayce termed the great work of spiritual evolution, assisting other souls both on Earth and in higher realms. This indicates that your spiritual evolution in this lifetime transcends mere personal advancement. It's essentially about getting ready to assist in ways that may currently be beyond your comprehension. The love you nurture, the insights you acquire, and the spiritual consciousness you foster. All of these elements become essential tools for your soul to aid others on their everlasting paths. Cayce suggested that souls who have experienced lives devoted to service and spiritual insight frequently opt to become, as he termed it, spiritual guides for those still inhabiting physical forms. Think of your grandmother, who always seemed to have the perfect words to share. Imagine a friend with an extraordinary talent for being present precisely when you require assistance. Based on Cayce's insights, these individuals could be souls who have opted to leverage their experiences in the afterlife to support others. This leads to a significant inquiry regarding your existing connections and life's purpose. If awareness persists beyond death and souls can elect to aid those living physically, how could this transform your perception of the guidance and synchronicities you encounter today? In reading 1947-3, Cayce elaborates on how peacefully transitioned souls often strive to formulate what he referred to as spiritual opportunities for their loved ones remaining on Earth. They cannot infringe upon free will, yet they have the ability to establish conditions that foster spiritual development and enlightenment. A notable instance recorded in the ARE archives features a businessman whose late father had had a life reading conducted by Cayce. Following his father's passing, the son encountered a sequence of apparently random events that guided him towards spiritual wisdom, which fundamentally changed his life. Upon seeking Cayce's insight regarding these experiences, the reading disclosed that the soul of his father was actively endeavoring to facilitate opportunities for his son's spiritual growth. Here's how this pertains to your current life. According to the insights offered by Cayce, you are enveloped by loving support from souls who have consciously made the transition. Those moments of inspiration, sudden realizations, and events that align perfectly seem too significant to merely be coincidences. They may indicate that these souls, during their initial 60 seconds after death, awaken to their capacity to assist from spiritual realms. However, the most profound aspect of Cayce's revelations regarding death lies in the insights they provide about life. If the nature of those first 60 seconds post-death is shaped by your spiritual readiness during your physical existence, then each day you live presents a chance to cultivate a more aware and joyful transition experience. Cayce repeatedly emphasized that the souls who underwent the most beautiful transitions were those who adopted what he referred to as an attitude of spiritual expectancy. Each day, they embraced the understanding that they were eternal souls engaged in a brief earthly journey, and this insight infused their lives with significance and direction. The passage 262:87 illustrates how a spirit who had embraced this spiritual consciousness perceived its initial moments post-death as a soft emergence from a dream into a more vibrant reality. There was an absence of fear or confusion, just a deep recognition and appreciation for both the earthly existence and the heightened awareness that ensued. This is the blessing that Cayce's insights present to you in this moment. You need not wait for death to start experiencing an elevated state of consciousness. The spiritual practices that equip your soul for a deliberate transition also amplify your awareness and happiness throughout physical existence. According to Cayce's insights, individuals who engaged in regular meditation during their earthly life established what he referred to as channels of light, which facilitated their transition. Prayer strengthened their linkage to divine guidance. Acts of service to others fostered spiritual resilience that helped them navigate challenges. However, the most fascinating revelation from Cayce's extensive readings on death and consciousness is that the initial 60 seconds post-death do not signify an end. Rather, they represent a graduation ceremony where your soul celebrates all it has learned and anticipates new opportunities for growth and service. A final example from the archives of ARA beautifully exemplifies this reality. In 1941, a man who had devoted many years to studying Cayce's teachings found himself nearing the end of his life. His family inquired what they might anticipate. The reading indicated that this person's departure would resemble that of a student who had finished their studies with distinction and was eager to embark on more advanced education. When the man peacefully passed away a few weeks later, it was reported that his last words reflected the stunning light he was witnessing and the remarkable teachers there to greet him. His experiences perfectly aligned with Cayce's insights regarding souls nearing death, while being spiritually prepared and consciously aware. This leads us to the ultimate question. With the understanding you've gained from Edgar Cayce about those pivotal first 60 seconds after death, how will you apply this knowledge to enhance your conscious and spiritual life at this moment? Keep in mind that every moment of kindness you show, every prayer you utter, every act of service you engage in, and every step you take towards spiritual enlightenment is equipping your soul for the most significant transition you will ever encounter. You're not merely living for the present. You are laying the spiritual groundwork that will shape your everlasting journey. If this video has enlightened you to the remarkable spiritual path that lies ahead for your soul, please consider sharing it with others who might benefit from this message. A like on this video can help it reach more individuals who are in search of truth regarding consciousness and what follows after life. Also, remember to subscribe with notifications activated, as there's so much more to learn about the incredible insights of Edgar Cayce concerning life, death, and the soul's eternal voyage. The most significant adventure of your soul is still to come, and now you understand how to gear up for it. The initial 60 seconds post-death could turn out to be the most exquisite moment of your eternal life, and it all hinges on the spiritual decisions you start making right now.